Hi, welcome to episode 5, Dream Consciousness Circuit, where we're going to plug into a truer reality. I'm going to call this episode Increasing Self-Awareness While You Sleep. Now, in our last episode, who are those strangers in our dreams? Are they like walk-ons in our nighttime dramas? Or can they be liberators leading us to freedom? Let's find out. I think the self-awareness part comes in because of the aspect of dreams and how they speak, how it means it has to do with that inner rapport and communication with in the state of awareness. So I think that's where I'm coming from as far as this dream goes into. Really important to look at that state of awareness and what this dream is telling me, more so than my particular old neighborhood. It was an older neighborhood though, however. And so has had to do something with past way of thinking, I'm sure.
Mhm. Something's been around for a while, a long time,
Mm-hmm.
is how I would look at that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not,
Right.
even though you don't know who these people are,
Mm-hmm.
you're unconscious about them. They've been there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They're not new aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How did they interact? Was there any clue in how they interacted?
They acted just like like any older married couple would. They were comfortable with each other. They were, I mean, the man comes out and then the woman comes out, and then the woman takes me into the thing, the man follows her and us, and we all sit down, and it was just, you know, having a conversation. They really didn't interact totally with each other. It was mostly with me.
I think it's important to talk about the sales element for a minute because you touched on the
Mm-hmm.
value. Sales is also an exchange
Mm-hmm.
between people. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a way that we can actually engage each other. We can offer intelligent conversation, advice, assistance sometimes. So the interaction with sales is the value that we hold with between people. That's how we measure it right now. So
Mm-hmm.
what you were selling was dream interpretation. So what do you make of that as a symbol? I think that's just really wonderful. So what do you do with
Oh,
that?
well, kind of like when you look at selling something, you're wanting to get something in return because you're wanting, of course, you're getting some money for it. In this case, it would be money. But I think also a symbol like that, where you're wanting to get your expectation of receiving something, would be not just material things, but you have an expectation to receive your own good feelings, the the feelings that you have that you've helped someone, the knowledge that someone, maybe you could set them on the path to dream, to care about their dreams. There's all kinds of receiving. It doesn't have to be material, and that's where I looked at this particular dream. And one reason too is because I forego the selling and just started talking about dreams. So it wasn't really like I was expecting any monetary value at one point. Um, Selling dream interpretation, I think, would be just giving that myself, because everybody in the dream is me, just giving myself that permission to have that inner rapport and that communication, um, and bringing out into the open to myself what what is my state of awareness. Am I because sometimes I think I'm very shallow. I think can I just stay up here and it's just a lot more comfortable, and I don't have to think about all that stuff. And then and so this dream is probably telling me a little bit about that, you know. I
Interesting.
admitted it.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's so important because I think that's one of the major movements in self-awareness that people make, is to realize that they like the status quo. Even though in America, we complain about it a lot. We have been a culture of complainers for centuries, or well, at least for decades. Well, I think it's centuries. Ben Franklin and those guys, they did their share too. And it's different when you stop complaining and you begin to realize where the thoughts come from that you're thinking. That they don't come from somebody else unless you have patterned yourself and you don't have your own original thought. So part of self-awareness is realizing that. I was listening to a YouTube this morning that had John Maxwell on it, who is quite a wonderful benefactor to many, many people. He's taught all his life. And he was speaking to the reality that when we're first born, the first years of our life, we're living out our parents' dream. We're not living out our own. There's a point where some people decide that they're going to live their own. And so then their choices begin to reflect that. Similar to what you said about getting out of the house and being free. That's a good example of it. And so his point being that we decide to own our own presence. We decide to be accountable and responsible for it. And in that, we then have the right to determine our own dream, because we seize it, because we realize that I'm going to be responsible for this, and that there's not somebody there that's going to take care of me or save me or that kind of thing, right? And you even spoke to that you know that you can take care of yourself. Very few people know that. And this whole advent of COVID, since we did talk about that a minute ago, it's shaking that up even more. People are becoming more worried now than they ever have been. And some people are reaching and clutching for somebody to take care of them. It used to be pretty much the church, probably. Now it's turned into government. And yet, what is government? Well, it's the people. So eventually we all come back to needing to care for ourselves and each other, right? So the idea of dreaming is progressive. And Bruce Lipton talks about it in terms of your DNA and taking control of your health and being able to know that the cause of your health or illness starts with you. It begins and ends with you. So the dreams become, yeah, go ahead.
I get why COVID entered my dream. Stay tuned to the next episode to find out.